My brother and my girlfriend betrayed me. My dad expects me to forgive them after all they've done. I am now 25 years old and recently went to celebrate my dad's 49th birthday with the family. But wait, before I get into that story, I have to tell you about the drama between my younger brother, who is 22, and me. This whole mess started about 3 years ago. Back then, I was dating a girl. Let's call her C, and she was 24 at the time. C and I were super close since high school. She was my world, and I thought I meant the same to her. The drama exploded around Thanksgiving. I had gone out to buy some desserts for the celebration, after staying at a friend's house because I was helping him move. When I finally got back home, I noticed something strange. C and all her things were gone. I tried to call her, but she did not answer. It just went to voicemail. I even tried to see where she was using the phone's location feature, but it seemed like she had turned it off. Curious and somewhat worried, I decided to check the recordings from the front door camera, and guess what I saw? My own brother was there, helping himself load her things into his car, and then they left together. After seeing that, I tried to call him immediately, but just like C, he did not answer either. That made me super anxious, and I started to imagine 1,000 things, although part of me was thinking no way, my brother would not do something like that to me. Look, growing up, my brother and I were super close, practically best friends. Sure, we did not spend as much time together after I went to college, but we still talked a lot and saw each other when we could. So, in the midst of panic and looking for answers, I called my dad and basically convinced him to have my mom call my brother. They put him on speakerphone, and when my mom asked him directly where C was, his answer was like a punch to the gut. He said, "She is living with me now. She broke up with." I could not believe it. I felt frozen, hoping it was some cruel joke. I went to check his Facebook and Instagram for clues, and there they were. Pictures of them hugging and kissing. That broke me inside. A lot of thoughts were going through my head, trying to understand why he would do something like that to me. I was so hurt, but that pain turned into rage. How could my brother, who was supposed to be my best friend, betray me like that? Filled with anger, I drove straight to his house and started banging on the door, demanding that he come out and face me. But, instead of him, it was C who opened the door. I lost control and started crying inconsolably. Everything fell apart when I saw her, and out of nowhere, my brother comes out of the kitchen and tells her, "Go upstairs." That's when she drops the bomb on me. He and she had been seeing each other secretly since my second year of college. She says she has felt bad ever since. But to make it even more dramatic, C comes down the stairs and tells me, "Do you know why I left you? Because I was tired of pretending I even liked you." That moment opened my eyes completely. The girl in front of me was not the person I thought I was in love with. She was someone completely different, and I started to think, is all this drama really worth it? Very quickly I realized that the answer was a resounding no, so I just left. I always try to stay calm and not make a scene, especially when I know that getting angry is not going to change what has already happened. But let me be clear, I was super angry with both of them, and at that moment I decided they were completely out of my life. Moving on to the present, I am living my life in California, still single. There was a family gathering that was going pretty well until, guess who showed up? My brother and his wife. And yes, pushing a stroller. Turns out they got married and wasted no time starting a family. After everything that happened, I am at a point where I am over it. Therapy helped me see that I was not the one who messed things up. She was the problem. At the family gathering, my brother tried to talk to me, but I was not up for it. I kept talking to my aunt like nothing happened. After a while, I practically forgot that my brother and his wife were there. Later, when I was going to the basement to get more ice cream, my brother appeared out of nowhere and gave me a tremendous scare. He tried to apologize for the mess he caused 3 years ago, but I was not willing to stop and listen to him. I just walked past him. He did not try to talk to me again that night. But the next morning my phone was full of text messages from my mom, all about how I should forgive my brother, that it was the right thing to do. My parents are quite religious, and they had already forgiven him a long time ago. But here is the problem, I cannot do it. What he did destroyed my ability to trust. He knew how important she was to me, and yet he went behind my back, thinking that I would just accept it. But forgiving him, that is something I do not see as possible, ever. Update time. Before getting into the update, I just want to thank everyone who shared their opinions about my situation. Although I have to say that some of you were encouraging me to get revenge on my brother in not very nice ways, even cutting him out of my life forever. I understand where that feeling comes from, but I have to clarify a few things. I am not trying to paint my mom and dad as the bad guys here. In fact, they forgave my brother long before we knew his wife was expecting a baby, and honestly, fighting with my brother would only bring me trouble, like ending up in jail or making things even worse in the family. And now, the update. I had a serious conversation with my mom, my dad, and my brother. We all sat down in my parents' living room, and I just let it all out. I told them directly how I felt about what my brother did. It is the kind of thing you cannot just say it is okay to and move on from. It is not about holding a grudge forever. It is more that I cannot see myself wanting anything to do with him again. How could I be at peace with someone who messed with his brother's girlfriend? And even worse, someone who considered his brother his best friend. That is not the kind of person I want in my life. My brother tried to defend himself by saying that he has changed and that he would not make the same mistake again. But here is the thing. What he did shook my trust to the core. He knew how much she meant to me, and yet he went ahead, thinking that everything would be forgotten over time. But I do not see how I could forgive that kind of betrayal. It is not just about what happened, but about the trust he broke, and overcoming that is not something I see as possible, not now, not ever. So there I was, having a real and honest conversation with my brother and our parents, trying to understand everything, my brother trying to make amends, acting as if what happened in the past had been just a small mistake, forgetting that he went so far as to marry and have a child with the girl I was planning a future with. I was like, seriously? And I could not help but ask my parents how they managed to forgive him. They told me that at first they were super disappointed in him, but that after he found religion and started preaching, they believed he had changed for the better and put it behind them. I had to ask them, however, if they could forgive him so easily if they were in my shoes. They said yes, they would, but I honestly did not believe them. We were arguing for a while, until my brother tried to tell me that I should not hold grudges, and I was thinking, you were going to lecture me about that, seriously? So I told him straight out that maybe he should not have gone after someone else's girlfriend in the first place. That struck a nerve, and he really started crying. My mom stepped in, saying that I was being too harsh, since he had already apologized and tried to fix things. That is when I let it all out, just as some of you had suggested. I told them they had to make a decision. Either they respected my decision to stay away from my brother and move on, or I would have no choice but to walk away from all of them, including my brother and his family. It was hard, but I had to say it. After all that intense discussion, my dad says this. Are you going to regret it if you do not forgive your brother? That made me stop and ask them directly if that was really how they felt about the whole situation. My mom, with a sigh, finally said okay. She admitted that they simply had to accept my decision to keep my distance from my brother. I looked at my dad, waiting for his opinion, and he just said yes. With a mix of relief and exhaustion, I thanked them for sitting down to talk to me. Then I looked at my brother, and I felt I had to be honest. I told him that no matter what he did from now on, there was no way things could ever go back to the way they were before. I wished him the best, but I made it clear that our paths were separating forever. After that, I just had to get out of there. I went straight to buy an In-N-Out because, honestly, after a conversation like that, you need a good burger and fries to decompress. When I got home, I was so exhausted from the whole thing that I collapsed as soon as my head hit the pillow. I was out. Today is a new day, and I have decided it is time to really move on. I downloaded a couple of dating apps. It feels like a good step to leave all this drama behind and start over. Second update. Where do I even begin with this disaster? It feels like I have been riding the worst emotional roller coaster in the world, and honestly, I am ready to get off. Let's start with that family gathering for my dad's 49th birthday. Yes, that was something. But wait, let's rewind a bit. For those of you just joining us, my brother and I used to be super tight, like best friends. Then this whole mess happened with my ex-C about 3 years ago. She and I were high school sweethearts, and suddenly, boom, she disappears out of nowhere with my brother's help. I found out through the doorbell camera and social media. Yes, they were together. A real stab in the back, right? Fast forward to the present. I am in California, doing my own thing, single and meeting people out there. That family gathering I talked about went from 0 to 100 in a second when my brother showed up with C and their baby. I have been to enough therapy not to let that affect me that much, but it still hurt. He tried to talk to me, but I did not want anything to do with it. Then, the next day, my phone was blowing up with messages from my mom, again with the whole forgive my brother thing, because of her religious beliefs and all that. But here's the thing. How are you supposed to just forgive and forget something like that? It is not just about what he did, but how it all happened. That kind of betrayal does not just disappear. But here comes the real update. I had a serious talk with my parents and my brother. I told them everything, how I felt, what it did to me, absolutely everything. My brother there trying to say that he has changed. But come on, he married the girl who stole me from him. My parents, as always, with their forgiveness speech, but I just could not. We went back and forth until I gave them an ultimatum. They accept that I do not want anything to do with him, or I walk away forever. My dad tried to guilt-trip me, saying that I was going to regret it if I did not forgive him, but I stood my ground. They finally understood, or at least they said they did. I told my brother clearly that there was no turning back from this and left. I ended the night with an in-and-out because, why not? The next day, I decided it was time to give the dating world another try. I downloaded a couple of apps and started swiping. Who knows, maybe it is time to move on from all this drama. So yeah, there I am now, moving slowly but surely, still a little broken inside. But who is not, right? Cheers to whatever comes next. Third update. There I was, finally feeling like I was getting my groove back, thanks to meeting Carla on one of those dating apps, you know? One of those rare matches that makes you think that maybe the universe is not so against you after all. Carla is an amazing soul, kind, funny, and gets my weird sense of humor. We connected instantly, and I felt like I was finally starting a new chapter, leaving all the past drama where it belongs, in the trash. But as always, life keeps throwing curveballs just when you think everything is settling down. See, out of the blue, sliding into my messages like we are in high school. Apparently, after she and my brother decided to play house, it all fell apart. My brother, the golden boy, ended up in serious drug trouble, and see, well, she is on the verge of financial ruin. She started texting me, telling me that she cannot make ends meet, that she has been thinking about me, about us, about what could have been, and dropping hints like she is ready for a second chance. I mean, the audacity, right? There I was, trying to heal my heart, to move on, and she thinks she can just waltz back into my life with a sob story and a moment. But the drama did not stop there. My parents, bless their hearts, found out that C had contacted me, and suddenly my phone would not stop ringing. Calls, messages, all with the same tune. Give her another chance. She has changed, family forgives, and all that jazz. It was like they had forgotten all the mess and betrayal that happened. Suddenly, I was the bad guy for wanting to keep my peace and sanity. And if that was not enough, my brother texted me too. Yes, the same guy who wrecked my life now wanted to talk. He said he had hit rock bottom and needed family more than ever. Please, the guy who betrayed me now wanted a lifeline. It was too much to process. But here comes the important part. Carla, in the midst of all this chaos, stood by me like some kind of superhero without a cape. One night, we sat down, a bottle of cheap wine, 2 glasses, and we just talked about everything. She listened, really listened, and gave me her opinion without pressuring me in any direction. Her advice was, do what is right for you, not what is easy, not what others expect. That conversation changed the game for me. It helped me see things clearly, not just from the pain and betrayal, but from what I really want for my future. So I decided to take the high road well, sort of. I replied to C, choosing my words carefully, wishing her the best, but making it crystal clear that our chapter was closed, with no chance of rewriting, no looking back. I hit the block button faster than you can say closure. As for my brother and all the family drama, I set my boundaries. It was not easy, but it was necessary. I told them that I was moving on, with or without their approval. The whole situation was like ripping off a Band-Aid that has been stuck for too long. Painful, but incredibly liberating once it is done. Now it is just Carla and me, navigating together in this craziness called life. We are going one day at a time, creating memories and laughing in the midst of chaos. And the past is in the rearview mirror, getting smaller with every minute that passes. So yeah, that is the latest chapter in this saga that is my life. It has been a roller coaster, but I am finally learning to enjoy the ride, with all its twists and turns. Cheers to new beginnings, to leaving drama behind, and maybe, just maybe, finding a little peace in the midst of chaos. Update 4. Carla and I have been superb, really. She has been an incredible source of strength and understanding in the midst of all this madness. We have been enjoying, exploring, laughing, and just soaking up those good vibes. Life with her felt like I was finally going uphill, like I could close the chapter on all that past pain and betrayal. But here is where the plot thickens. Out of nowhere, my brother, let's call him Mr. Roller Coaster, decides to barge back into my life with a vengeance. He has been through a rough patch, and now suddenly he is all about fixing things, talking about rehabilitation and reconnecting. He even started showing up in places where he knew I would be, talking about destiny and second chances. And just when I thought I could dodge that minefield, C shows up again. But this time it was not just a text or a call. She showed up in person, tears in her eyes, talking about hitting rock bottom. Her life with my brother became a nightmare of addiction and financial ruin. She was looking at me like I was a lifesaver in her sea of chaos. And to top it all off, my parents come back with their family is everything crusade, pressuring me to forgive, forget, and pretend we are one big happy family. They are organizing family dinners like this is a sitcom where everything gets resolved in 30 minutes with hugs and life lessons. Carla has been a saint through all of this, but you can tell it is taking a toll on her too. It is one thing to deal with your own drama, but it is quite another to have someone else's circus set up its tent in your backyard. After a lot of thinking, reflecting, and having several late-night talks with Carla, I decided to take a stand. I met with my brother face-to-face in a neutral place, and I told him that I am willing to support his recovery, but I am not going to pretend that we can go back to what we were. As for C, I wished her the best, I really did, but I was clear. Our paths diverged a long time ago for a reason. The big family dinner was epic. I let it all out, my conditions for moving forward, how I felt, and what I needed from them if they wanted to have any kind of relationship with me. It was not easy. There were tears, raised voices, and more than one moment when I thought about walking out the door without looking back. But believe it or not, it all ended with a certain air of understanding. Maybe it was not total acceptance, but it was a step towards mutual respect for each other's boundaries and decisions. Carla was there with me the whole time, a pillar of strength and my unconditional support. And now what? I am taking it one day at a time, focusing on building a life with Carla, navigating the complexities of family relationships, and most importantly, learning to trust the process. It is not perfect, not even close, but it is real, it is mine, and I am determined to make the most of it, no matter what. So yeah, that is the last update. Life is a journey, and I am just here trying to enjoy the ride, bumps and all. Cheers to moving on, finding peace, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of happiness along the way.